What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and today I'm going to be showing you the 5 most common chest training mistakes. All right, so when it comes to training your chest, you must understand that when you are trying to train your pec muscles, you are just with how your body is built, how it works, you're going to be working a little bit of your anterior deltoid, your front delt. And my first tip is going to be a tip to pretty much just cancel out as much activation of your front delt as possible. And what that is it's going to be retracting, not only retracting, so you're going to be rolling your shoulders back, retracting your scapula, but then after that, some people, they roll their shoulders back, but they're still up high, and therefore when they press, they're still getting a lot of that front delt activation. You roll your shoulders back, and then you want to press your scapula down. So it's called retraction and depression of your scapula. And when you do that, and then you press the weight, you get a lot more chest activation and a lot less deltoid activation. So I'm going to show you the difference between the two. So what I mean is, typically when you see guys doing chest press, you see them going down with the weight and then pressing forward, leading with their shoulders, and they end right here. Right here, and when I keep doing this and I keep pressing my shoulders forward, that's when I'm going to activate my delt. So instead what you want to do is really overemphasize rolling your shoulders backwards and pressing them down and keeping them there the whole time. So you're going to go down, and then when you press back up, you don't want to just naturally let your shoulders come back up. On the way back up, that's when you want to overemphasize keeping them back and down, and that is when you're going to get your chest activation. Right there. Rolled back, down, right there. Push through your chest. So that's the first tip. The second tip is going to be in regards to how the chest muscle is worked. So muscles are worked by shortening them and lengthening them. That's how you create muscle stimulation. It's how you create micro muscle tears. It's why your muscles want to grow bigger, because you have activated them and you've broken down the fibers. So when you're trying to work your chest muscle, you have to understand that the chest muscle is activated by arm adduction, which is when you're bringing your elbows in towards the center line of your body. And then so that would be your concentric phase, but then your eccentric is on the way back down, which is going to be abduction, which is with your elbows coming back out. So the next thing that you guys want to focus on, this is why I don't really like the barbell bench press for chest isolation, because barbell bench press, it's a great compound movement, but it's called a compound movement for a reason, because you're going to be working your chest, you're going to be working your shoulders, and you're going to be working your triceps. When you go to dumbbells and you really start focusing on adduction and abduction, that is when you're going to start isolating your chest as much as you possibly can on a chest exercise like dumbbell. So I'll show you the difference. Let's say I'm holding a barbell and my hands are in a fixed position. I'm going to, what you want to watch here is my elbows to see how far out and how far together they come. So pretend I'm holding a barbell, my hands are in a fixed position, I go down, I'm going down all the way, and then I press back up. And if I'm in a fixed position, that's as far as my elbows are going in. That's as far as my elbows are going to adduct and abduct. So with dumbbells, what you really want to focus on is overemphasizing that adduction and the abduction. So when you're going to go down, you're going to remember to retract and depress your scapula. And then with your elbows, you're actually going to really emphasize going outwards with them as far as you can, go all the way down. And then when you press back up, you really want to focus on just where your elbows are going. So you want your elbows to go as out wide as they can. And then when you get up to the top, you want to squeeze your elbows together as much as possible, keeping tension at the top. You don't want to rest up here. A lot of times people lose tension right here. You want to keep the tension right here as you squeeze your elbows together, and then start back out, going outwards with your elbow, abduction, come back up, adduction with your elbows, and back out. So that's the second tip. Okay, the third tip is just going to be full range of motion, full ROM, because a lot of times it's very similar to the abduction and the adduction of your elbows. When guys or girls are going to do bench press, a lot of times they aren't really going and getting the full range of motion. And in order to get your chest to grow, you have to make sure that you're getting a stretch on the muscle, and you have to make sure you're getting the peak contraction of the muscle, both with every single rep. That way you get the optimal muscle gains, I guess. So I'll show you the difference between these two as well. When you see guys not really focusing on the full range of motion, what you see is typically, this usually comes from being too heavy, which I'll get to here in a second, but they go down and they go down to about here, and my chest is in a little bit of a stretch, but this right here is not as deep of a stretch as if I were to really focus on driving my elbows as back far as possible and really get a good stretch on my chest. And then from here, you want to really focus on driving down through your chest while your shoulders are back and retracted and depressed. You're going to go all the way down as deep as you can, drive up, and then at the top, a lot of times guys will either stop right here or they'll bring it together, but when they bring it together, they're not flexing their chest. This is not a peak contraction. This is the place where you will get the peak contraction, but if you're not focusing on getting the peak contraction, you're not going to get it. So instead, go all the way down, press up, and then when you get up here, this is where you overemphasize squeezing your chest muscles as if you're trying to hold a pencil in between your boobs. And then you're going to squeeze them together, squeeze your elbows together, really focus on that adduction of your elbows, and back down, get the full stretch, press up, squeeze together. That's going to be your full range of motion. And so that's the fourth tip. All right, sorry, that was actually the third tip. I said fourth there. The fourth tip is going to be with, or in regards to where the weight is to your body, because this also is how people end up activating a lot of their front delt, because a lot of times when guys are doing press and they get a lot of front delt activation from pressing, keeping this weight up here by their shoulders and then pressing up to like above their head, and they either go, and this is again because typically they're going too heavy, and so they'll go down and it'll be up by their shoulders, and then they'll press up and it'll still be up by their shoulders and their neck and up by their head. This is not going to get chest activate. This is not going to get your chest worked. Instead, what you want to do is, like I said, drop your shoulders down, and you really want to emphasize this weight being above your chest. And then from here, you're going to go out, you're going to keep it just in line with your chest, and then while you press up, you're really going to focus on your elbows being down at about a 45-degree angle rather than up here. You don't want this to be here. That's shoulder activation. This is going to be chest activation, and you're going to press it up, keeping it above your chest, and then that's going to be where you want it. That's where you want your range of motion to be, above your chest. Big difference between this and this. So that's the fourth tip. So that brings us to the last tip, and the last tip I don't really need to show you guys, because the last tip is just to go lighter. Basically all four of the tips I just showed you, they typically come from guys going too heavy on pressing movements or fly movements because they think that they need to look impressive in the gym, or they need to be lifting more than the guy next to them, or whatever it may be. Leave your ego at the door when you go to the gym. Drop weights. Make sure you are using correct form on every single exercise. It's not just relating to chest. Make sure whether you're doing back, shoulders, legs, whatever it may be, you're dropping weight, you're figuring out perfect form first, and then you're building higher, more and more weight on top of that perfect form. So try these 5 tips out the next time you go to do chest. And if you guys want any more free tips for your body, I actually created a body shaper quiz where you answer a couple of questions about your body, and then it spits out a video with 3 tips for you. And then after that, there's a paid training. Some people have been calling the video the free training part, and then there's a paid training part where it recommends what program is right for your body, the training and the nutrition that you need to get whatever goals that you have. So to check that out, you can click the link in the description below. Other than that, make sure you're clicking the thumbs up button so that I know you like this video, so I know to keep making videos like this. If you have any questions about this video, if you have any videos that you want me to make, leave them in the comment section below. And then lastly, don't forget to click that subscribe button down there so that you're not missing when I release a new video. All right guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.